Sorry, ow, partner called and then got interrupted. So what was I saying? Yeah, woke up around 5:30. Needed to use the toilet. Pregnancy problems. And as I went to the loo, like the liquid started trickling out, and I thought, oh my gosh, have I wet myself? This is not good. But throughout my pregnancy, I had wet myself before on numerous occasions, but I got later on, like when you sneeze. Lies, actually, it's not even when you sneeze or cough, it's more because I had the severe vomit and I had HG, hyperemesis glange or something. It's like the medical term for like excessive vomiting throughout pregnancy. I was on anti-sickness medication throughout my whole pregnancy. It didn't help. I think it made things a bit better, but I still vomited. If it wasn't twice a day at the beginning before the medication, it was like 6-7 times a day. That's not even exaggerating. Then with the medication, it was like once or twice a day, and on good days I wouldn't vomit like every day. If I was having like a good week, it might be every other day. So they helped, but I would rather have been one of those people that only had morning sickness for the first 6 months and then nothing. But it is what it is. Yeah, so water was trickling and I just thought to myself, oh, what is this? Like, I wet myself, all this stuff. Says I thought, I'll wait like a couple of minutes and see, and then I'll wait a couple of minutes and then see if it stops. But I was pacing around in the kitchen here and it was still trickling, and I was like, actually, I think my waters might have gone. So I phoned the ward. I described to her what's happening. She's like, yep, I think your waters have gone. Put a pads there, and if she asked me if I was having contractions, and I told her I wasn't at that time, and she said, okay, if your contractions don't start by 8:30, come to the hospital, because once your waters go, your baby is at risk of infection because there's nothing protecting them anymore. That's, I think, why they tell you wait for so long, and if nothing happens, then come into the hospital. So after I spoke with her, then I went to wake up my partner and I told him like my waters have gone, and he was just really excited. And sorry, watching the baby. Yeah, so pardon me, sorry guys. So yeah, woke him up. We spoke for a little bit. At this point, it was probably like 5:45. Then he woke up his mum and stepdad, and they've got foster children, so they needed to get up to then. Oh, they wanted to be up anyway. I don't even know why I'm explaining that bit, but anyways, we woke them up, and then we were all in the kitchen just having a conversation, and my partner decided he's gonna go up to have a shower, and then we can go. At this point, I was still in dressing my nightie and dressing gown, and the contractions started picking up. I would say probably from about half an hour after my waters went to about 6 o'clock, they started again. So I was like, oh yeah, contractions. And literally with every contraction you could feel that it got that bit stronger and that bit stronger. So it got to a point when it was about 6:30. I was just like, these are actually, yeah, these are getting stronger every time. This is the real deal. It's not like what I'd been having throughout the week, where it would be strong, like a really strong one, then it would subside, and it'll be a really strong one, then subside. This was like climbing stairs, basically. So my partner's stepdad went to get my partner out of the shower and was like, yep, she wants to go to hospital now, so come on. So the thing is, it wasn't that unbearable that I could have stayed at home, but it was because of the frequency of how strong they were getting. I knew that if I'd left it to stay at home for too long, I wouldn't have enough time to get to the hospital, because the hospital is about a 25-minute drive from where we are at the moment. So I was like, yeah, I want to go now. Partner quickly came out of the shower, got dressed. Our bags were already packed and ready, like near the door. So he just literally, we had them packed from about week 36, 37. I started packing at week 35, but you just keep adding more bits, taking bits out, adding more bits. So they were properly done, dusted, zipped up, unopened from about week 37. They were just not touched anymore. They just sat there and they were ready to go, if anything. So he put them in the car, and I had a TENS machine as well. Ladies, if you expecting, tip, get a TENS machine. You don't have to buy it. They are a bit expensive to buy, but you don't have to buy it. You can rent them. If you go into Mothercare, you can rent it off them. I think we rented it for, I can't remember, to be honest, I can't remember how much I paid. I'm not gonna lie and make up a price, but we rented it. They send it to you 3 weeks before your due date, and you've got, just in case you do go over, I think you have it for a period of like 6 weeks. I can't remember how it works. They send it 3 weeks before your due date, and then I think they allow up to 2 weeks, because you can go over by 2 weeks before they try to induce you, I think. So you have it for like 5-6 weeks. They allow you to have it for, and then you just send it back to them. So yeah, I had my TENS machine on my back. It was helping with the contractions, everything. So yeah, partner put the bags in the car. I was in my dressing gown. I didn't care. I was just like, yeah, I want to go to the hospital. Just got in the car, turned on the engine. What do you need? Petrol. Ladies, gents, whoever's watching this, remember, have your bags ready. 1, 2, always make sure there's petrol in the car. So we had to then go to the petrol station and then fill up the car. I was not a happy bunny, but anyway, he filled up the car. Then we went to the hospital. By the time we got to the hospital, it was probably 7:30. I think it was around 7:30, because I remember walking in, the woman that I actually spoke to at 5:30 about my waters, she was the woman that greeted us when we got there, because I was in the midwife led birthing centre as opposed to delivery ward, because I was low risk. No problems except for the excessive vomiting. There was nothing that was really wrong with the baby. I was healthy, and I wanted to do it naturally, so they were happy for me to just be in the low risk birthing ward. So that's where we were. So she met us. She said, it's changed over time, because it was around 7:30. They were changing over from their night shift people. The day people were now coming. So she wouldn't be the one looking after me. Also, my midwife was away that week. So my last appointment, she told me she was going to be away, and as a joke, she just said, "Oh, imagine the week I'm away, the week when you have the baby," and that's what happened. So the woman that gave me the sweep on the 2nd of November, or whatever, was the stand-in midwife. Wasn't my actual midwife that I'd been seeing throughout my whole pregnancy. So yeah, got in. They did a changeover shift. Some lovely lady came. Can't remember her name, so sorry, but she came, was looking after me. There was like the cleaning lady / people that bring around the food came as well and said, what do you want for breakfast? I said to her, Cocoa Pops. It was Rice Krispies. So she brought me Rice Krispies. My partner didn't want anything. I had 1 spoonful, and I remember I only had 1 spoonful, and that's when everything started going on. It went from 50 to 100, not 0 to 100, because that would be dramatic. It was 0 to 50 in the house, and it went from 50 to 100 in the hospital. It started getting really strong, and to the point where before, when I was having a contraction, I could breathe through them and I could slightly talk and interact. It got to a point that when I was having the contraction, wasn't talking, holding on to things, was like just breathing through it, because I was just like, yeah, these are the real deal. This is the McDaddy of contractions. This is not a joke. So they started, and then those ones started, and the midwife came, was like, let me just check how far you are. She checked me, and I was 5 centimeters. So I'd gone from 2 the previous week, because when I had the sweep, she checked me as well, and when she checked me, I was still 2 centimeters, but you're 2 centimeters dilated, and they do, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it properly, probably aren't, but a face, it's how thin the cervix has become. So you need to not only get wide, it needs thin as well. So at the time, the very first time, the Friday, the 29th of October, I was only dilated 2 centimeters. I hadn't thinned at all. by the Wednesday, I had still been 2 centimeters dilated, but I had totally thinned. So when she checked me, I had already thinned and I was just 5 centimeters dilated. So it was carrying on with my TENS machine. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this natural, got to do this. And I said to her, I have opted for a water birth because that's what I wanted. I read all about it. It's good, you know, pain relief, blah, blah, blah. Read about it. I'm not going to tell it in this video because this video is going to just be a ramble. So, she then took me to, we had to move rooms because the room we were in wasn't a birthing suite. It was just the room with a bed and a chair and the bathroom. So she took me to one that had the bath. Well, I thought it was a bath. It's like a mini pool. It's huge and you actually have stairs to climb up to get into them. That's how big it is, and the taps are huge to try and fill it up. So she was filling it up, trying to get it ready, right temperature and everything, and I was still carrying on with my contractions. And then by the time we were in this room, I don't know, it was about half 8. No, it was gone half 8 by this time anyway. And then the pool was ready, birth and pool was ready, and she said I could get in, but I was in so much pain. It's just so like, oh my god, this is intense, that I just didn't care. I just lifted my arms up for my partners to just lift up, because I just had a dress nightie on, because it's easier for my bump to fit in there, and it was easier for me to go use the loo and stuff like that. So I didn't really have trousers, I just had the long nightie on. So he just lifted it up, took it off, you know, butt naked in front of this midwife. And you just, when they say your like shame and stuff goes out the window, it goes out of the window. You just don't care. So yeah, got into the pool. By the way, you have to take off your TENS machine when you're in the pool, because obviously it's electrical impulses that it transmits down your back, so you can't have that in the pool. You will electrocute yourself. So I took that off and I was just in the pool for a little bit, probably 5-10 minutes. And I just thought to myself, the pain's actually intense. I can't do it totally unaided. So I asked her for some gas and air. I was like sucking on that gas and air, and I was thinking, this thing is not doing anything. Maybe this is what it's like. But I said to her, I don't feel like it's doing anything. And she checked at the wall, because they're connected via the wall, and she's like, oh, it's not plugged in, because there's like a bit that comes out from the wall, and then you've got the tube bit that you hold, and they weren't connected. I was screwing. So she connected it and I was sucking away, and I could feel that, yeah, it works. What it does, it makes you lightheaded, and it makes your voice go deep as well. No one's ever mentioned this. I don't know why. I've never heard this in anyone's birth vlogs, but I thought I'd let you guys know that it makes your voice go deep. Because I'm like, and then when the pain, I was like to my partner, I was like, the pain's too much. Your voice just goes really deep. It's like the opposite of helium. It's a reversal. Instead of your voice being high pitched and squeaky, it makes it rather deep. It makes your lips dry, makes your throat dry, just dries you out. It's just nitrogen and oxygen, I believe. So it made my voice very deep. And then what happened? Yeah, she connected it, sucking it. I was just like, oh man, the pain was just the pain was something else. I was in the pool, swishing and washing around. I was like, oh my god, this hurts so much. My partner's like, you can do it. And she was being really encouraging. You're doing so well. My partner's going, you're doing so well. And in the moment, I was in so much pain, it felt like they were being patronizing. So I was like, can you both just shut up? Because I didn't want to hear it. Them telling me you're doing so well in that voice as well. And before I'd gone into labor, when we were talking about what I'd be like with my partner, I said to him, you know, I'm a type of person, I love touchy-feely. I'm like, yeah, massage me, comfort me, tell me I'm doing well. I told him to do this. So he was just doing as I had requested. And I said to him, nah, don't. Because I was in so much pain. When you're in that much pain, you realise that you're probably a different person. I just wanted to be in the zone, focused. I didn't want him talking. I didn't want the midwife talking. I just wanted to do it there, just quiet. I didn't want him touching me either, because he was rubbing me, and I was like, get your hot breath off me, because he was sitting by the pool. I was like trying to massage my shoulders, rub my head and everything, and I was just not having it. But eventually he just kept giving me like a hair rub, because I didn't have my weaving, so I just had my natural hair out, and he was just like just rubbing my scalp, and that did help. That was nice, as well as the gas in there. So it makes you lightheaded for 10 seconds. It doesn't take away the pain, but you kind of detach for the, you don't even detach, I'm lying, it just makes you lightheaded for 10 seconds, 10-20 seconds. As long as you're sucking it in, it's lasts for a number of seconds and it wears off again. So the pain was getting really, 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 really intense, and I just said, I can't do this anymore, babe. I can't do it natural. I said I want an epidural. I just went straight. I was like, yeah, I want an epidural. The woman midwife was trying to convince me, no, you don't want an epidural, blah blah blah, because if you have an epidural, then I have to move up to labor ward because there's a risk associated with epidurals. And obviously, one, I'm in proper established labor, it will be a lot of effort to move me up, because you had to go up in this hospital to the delivery ward, so you'd have to get in a lift, all sorts. It's just too much. And you have to wait for an anaesthetist to administer it and all of this. So it was just too much effort. So she was trying to convince me. I was like, okay, what else can you give me then? And then it's morphine, but the pregnancy version, because you can't give morphine itself to a pregnant woman. It's the adapted one for pregnant people, and it goes in your thigh. But because it makes you really, really spaced out, you can't have it and be in the pool. So you have to come out of the water. So I said, fine, I'll take that. My partner was trying to convince me, remember you said, not to let you get this if you're in this much pain. I just looked at him and I just said to him, I need it. I said, forget what I said. I wasn't in labor then, I'm in labor now. And he was just like, no, you can do it. And I was like, and then I started crying. I was like, why do you want me to suffer? I'm so dramatic. And when I said that, I think he realized I was actually in a lot of pain. So he's like, fine, get the morphine thing, whatever. So the woman was, by the way, the midwife, I don't know if this happens in every hospital, but in my hospital, they stayed in the room and they just check on you literally, I think it's every 15 minutes, because I was in a pool. They have the heart monitor thing, they can monitor the baby, they can put that in the water. So she puts that to listen to the baby's heartbeat, make sure baby's okay. So she stayed out, sorry, got a bit of loose skin. She stayed in the room throughout the whole pregnancy. Yeah, she stayed in the room throughout the whole pregnancy, monitoring baby every 15 minutes, writing some notes down, all of that. So she was going to go get the morphine thing for me, but she had to help me out of the pool first because there were stairs that I needed to go down to get out of the pool. When I say stairs, it's not like there were 10 stairs. There were literally 3 stairs. Well, obviously, wet naked lady equals accidents. So she was holding on to me as I was climbing down the 3 steps. And when I came out of the water, I said to her, I feel like I need to do a number 2. And then I remember in a birthing class, they said if you felt like that, usually the baby was traveling, they were in like the rectum type of area, traveling down. And then literally a minute later, I said to her, I was getting onto the bed, and she was covering me with a sheet and like trying to dry me off. And I said to her, I feel like I need to push. And she thought, no, because she had only checked me. At this time, it had been like an hour and a half, and I think they like to check you every 2 hours, not to distress you or the baby. So she was just thinking, usually they say it's a centimetre an hour when you are first having a baby. It's roughly, that's kind of what they tell you to expect, about a centimetre an hour. So it's only been an hour and a half. At most, I'll probably just dilated a centimetre, if not 2, if I'm lucky. But I said to her, no, I need to push. So she got another midwife to come and have a look, consult her to say, should we check, should we not? But the lady came and she said, if she feels like she needs to push, just check and make sure. So she checked, and while she was checking, I was having a contraction and having an urge to push, but being told not to push. There was some weird noise that just happened, but anyway, been told not to push. So she checked and said, oh, okay, you're 10 centimeters dilated. I was like, no wonder the pain was so intense, because I had gone from 5 to 10 in the space of an hour and a half. Like it was like that. Yes, so she just said to me, when you feel like push. By the way, I didn't end up having the morphine thing, because when I was getting out of the pool to have it, I felt like I needed to push. So she never ended up getting it for me and everything. So I just had the gas in it, and I can't really remember, but I don't think I had the gas in there when I was pushing either. I remember I had one hand gripping the bed and the other hand I was holding my partner's hand. Yeah, so I wouldn't have had an arm free to suck no gas in there. So the pushing bit, I think you do anyway without gas in there. So I was just like, you know, every contraction, ooh, push, 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 push. I don't know what time I got into bed at. Sorry guys, I was spaced out. But I just remember that I remember the ring of fire, because you get ring of fire when the baby's head starts to crown and your hoo-ha is like stretching, and at that point they tell you stop pushing so that your body can naturally widen, like that bit can naturally stretch, sorry, so that you don't tear. So when it happens like that, they tell you just candle breaths, as if you're just blowing out like a little candle. So I was just like, that's what I was doing till she told me I could push. And then yeah, I did that for a little while, maybe 2 minutes or so, I don't know. And then she said, okay, when you have a next contraction, sorry, my monitor's dying, that's why it's making that beeping sound. Yeah, she just said, when you get contractions, sorry, rewind, candlelight breaths when I was having contractions while she was crowning, so that I can actually stretch. Yeah. Then when she felt like I had stretched enough and it was okay, she said, okay, when you do have your next contraction, now you can start pushing normally. So I was just, you know, going for it, pushing, grunting. My partner said I didn't actually make any noise. Even when I was in labor, I wasn't a vocal person. I was literally quiet, and it was just when I was having my contractions, sucking in my gas in there. So pushing, it was like, I took a deep breath, and then you put your chin down onto your chest and you literally push with all your might, as if you're doing a big poop. So I was just pushing, and then I felt her head go and like come out, and I felt this gush of liquid as well. Liquid came out with it, and she's like, oh good, you know, you delivered the baby's head, that's the hardest part, is their head. And she's like, now on your next contraction, really, really big long push, and we can try and deliver the whole body. I said to her, I remember saying to her, why is my baby not crying? Because obviously the head's out, so I was thinking, why is it not crying? But she just said, no, don't you worry, you just need to deliver the rest of her and she'll be fine. And it felt like what felt like a lifetime. We were all waiting for ages, and I wasn't having another contraction. I don't know what happened. I think my body kind of just went into this mode of a period of rest, and then I felt a contraction coming. I was like, okay, yeah. Took a deep breath in, and I was just like, just deep within my soul, pushed for as long as I could. I think if I saw myself, I would have seen the veins in my head popping out, bulging. I pushed for as long as I could, and then the rest of her body came and she let out a big cry, and I was like, yeah, there's my baby. And then obviously tears, crying. I was like, they put her straight on my chest, skin to skin, all that jazz. Daddy had skin to skin as well with her after we opted for delayed cord clamping, so that she could get all the blood out of the cord for the placenta. You know, read about it. I'm not going to go into it in this video, but if you do want me to talk about those kind of things, let me know in the description box. But yeah, this video is just ended up being too long. So I had time with her, let the blood drain. It went from like a purple cord to like a clear translucent type thing. Then Daddy cut it, and yeah, then like baby went to Daddy. He had skin to skin with her on the chair. They checked my hoo-ha down below to see if I tore. Luckily for me, I only had 2 grazes. Yeah, 2 grazes, that was it, didn't tear. And then they put no one tells you this as well, they put their finger in your anus to check that you didn't rip your anus into your vagina. So she puts her finger in, and there was a trainee midwife there at the point when they were doing the check. So when the baby had been born, not when I was having my delivery, not when I was in active labor, because I said I didn't want any trainee people there when I was in active labor, because I feel like that's a very personal time. You're going through a lot of pain. You don't want the inside midwife focusing on you. You don't want her saying, okay, and then in this stage, this is what's happening. I don't want that. So I didn't mind after the birth, but I didn't want it during the moment. So she just said, oh, I'm going to put my finger in your bum to make sure you haven't torn through. And then she was explaining to the trainee person, we're looking to see that the skin appears through the vagina. And she could see the skin was there and it was fine, everything. And so there was no stitches, just kind of wiped down below with some sort of alcoholic thing, I don't know. because she said it's going to sting, she put it a wet cloth down there and it did sting. And then after that, basically, baby had vitamin K jab straight away, got weighed, all that jazz. There, basically just talked about it, but baby's delivered healthy at 10:33, weighing £6 4 ounces. She was a little baby, a little petite little doll, and yeah, I was just happy, very emotional. It all happened very quickly, you know. Waters broke at 5:30, had baby by 10:33, and I was out of the hospital by 6 p.m. And we ordered Chinese when we got home. Yeah, I'm one of those moms. So thanks guys for watching, listening. Excuse my weird rambliness, looking around, all of that. I've recorded this on my phone because, as I said, baby was sleeping. I couldn't get out main camera to do all of this because it would just make too much noise, and I couldn't be bothered to do my makeup. Unfortunately, this is what I really look like. Yes. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned for my next videos. Let me know if you have any suggestions of things you'd like to see, and I will do that. And yeah, thanks guys. Enjoy your week. Peace out.